Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the XRS ZTR Thursday night race out on Watopia Hilly Course today. This afternoon, actually, over in the U.S., but we've got a whole lot of people from all over the world about to take off, actually, as you just heard the countdown timer take off from over here at the start-finish line, and riders are just getting out onto the course. I want to real quick go over the new race series, though, that has been launched by Team Experimental, actually. So the race rules are a little bit different, similar to ZTR, but there have been a couple of changes, so I'm just going to talk about those real quick as the riders get going out onto the Hilly Watopia course. All entries via the event module is number one rule. Number two is that rider name with your XRS plus your category, like usual for most races. Fair racing and no cheating. Racers are expected to race in the correct division. See below for categories. Start in the corresponding starting pen and have your category in your name. This is all found on teamexperimental.com. HRM is encouraged in all categories, but mandatory in category A and B, correct weight, and ZTR approval for riders over 5 watts per kilogram. No power-ups, so that's the difference between this race, and a lot of times we cover the KISS races as well, which we will be covering immediately following this over on Zwift Community Live. But no power-ups, and there will be a 60-second time penalty if a power-up is used. TT bikes only allowed in TT events, so no TT bikes will be out in course today without a DQ. Racers intentionally drafting ZP may face a DQ, so any riders who are intentionally drafting off what a lot of claim to be Zwift power beasts sometimes may have a DQ according to the race organizers. And ZP is allowed in BC and DCAT, no podium finish for ZP. If racers demonstrate 5 consecutive BRS races with power below current cat, they may demote to lower cat. So there's the race rules, boys and girls, that you're about to check out for the race today. And the riders in the A category have gotten going. We will be following the A category riders throughout the duration of their race, and then moving into the B and the B category riders, and maybe some of the C as they finish up. The A category riders today will be doing, I believe it is going to be, I'm looking really quick here, 4 laps reverse hilly, and the B categories, that's A and B. The C category riders will be doing C and D category races today. So now that we got all of the racing info out there for you for the new XRS series, you can see up at the front now we do have Schmidt-Heine coming from Team Experimental, actually hammering away, and you can see a couple of updates actually you'll be seeing in the user interface for Zwift today. Late last night, I was covering the tour down under. I was covering the KISS race, the down under KISS race, and while a lot of those from the Pacific region were hammering away, they got a lot of fog from all the rain out there. But as they were hammering away out on course, as I was updating, I got an update immediately as soon as I jumped into the game, and I was like, what is going on? I was not expecting it at all, actually, and bam, the volcano climb had launched, and now we do have a moving ride-on. Some immediacy actually to the ride-ons, which is really cool to see. Bam, there's the ride-on. No double clicking up on top of the screen there over and over again. We're giving Mr. Daniel Schmidt-Heine that ride-on right there from the side there. We do see Brett Boniface out on course as well. He is currently holding on to that King of the Mountain for the volcano, actually, right now it looks like, I believe. So that's pretty cool that he is able to grab that. Looks like he's doing the XRS. I wouldn't be surprised if we see quite a few of these riders jumping into the KISS race immediately after this, as a lot of them do like to do the doubleheader. It is a huge group here that we are seeing up at the front of the race right now. I think we've got at least, maybe I would say 40 riders or so. As we're trying to get some views from the helicopter, but he is completely blacked out right now from the incessant amounts of rain that we are seeing out on course. The Melting Man with Locks is at the back here. Bruno Vieira, it looks like Plusmer's hanging out, and I think this may be one of the favorites to win, being a course that is definitely a little hillier. They've got the longer climb, the 4-minute climb on the backside. It's got that kick right from the get-go, right into that 7-8% gradient. Then it levels out for a little while and then kicks one more time up toward the top. It does lend toward the climbers a little bit though out on course. So I think the first split we will see as they make their way over to the climb that's going to be coming up here in just a moment on the backside of the Watopia Hill. As we move backwards, let's go ahead and see if anything has broken up just yet from the pace has been set through the Essies. Does not look like it. We do see my avatar actually hanging out 7:54 back. Doesn't look like I'm catching up anytime soon sitting here in the studio back here. But as you can see here at 8:03 back, if I were to click on there, we would be stuck in the pens right now. So we're going to just make sure we're careful about where we're clicking back at the back of the viewers viewer there. For the riders. Pelosi here with Ewan and Epan all up toward the front. Does look like plenty of Team Experimental riders, though, showing up for their first event with the XRS series. As you can see, all the Team Experimental kits here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. At least 8 riders have made this lead group. We are seeing Vision Cycling has come out in with quite a few riders as well. I did see Mr. Webb in there. A. Locks is hanging out in there as well. We do see Casey Shum hanging out here from Team Experimental as well. Who else is in here from WBR is there? I can see so many riders here though that the positions are changing so incredibly quickly. So what we're going to do is we're going to head on over to ZwiftPower.com and we are going to click on the live tab. And that's going to give us a much better look. And so we are seeing Elaw, Kim Little, Casey Shum, LM Heigel is out in there as well. Looks like Oxenham, the Soxenham man is there. Steve Weidman, Francis Kopix, Daniel Schmidt-Heine, Neil Law, actually father-son combo there with Elaw and Neil Law. Pretty cool to see them both out on course right now from Team Experimental. Frank Garcia is there as well as Plujmers has made it there. And then we do have S. Grace. So there's actually, it looks like all of Team Experimental out on course right now, making the lead group. We do have, it looks like from the KISS Racing team, Jay Lecoq has made this front group right along with B. Melting Man. The Melting Man is there. Melting Tallow and Ludendorff is in the contention for the lead group right now as well. P. Hicks and M. Wall from the BRT team, and they are hanging out. The BRT team hangs out in that Power Tab kit, as you can see right where my cursor is here, back down toward where Indoor Cycling Made Social is there, and then up toward the front though now Vision Cycling with A. Locks hammering away, as you can see, 458 watts or so, 170 beats per minute as they start to make their way up this 7% gradient, and the line is going to start really spreading out at this point. And these little gaps, as we saw on the mountain route a couple days ago in the KISS race, these little gaps up and over the top of the climb really do matter. And if you do not hang on, when it flattens out right now is when the gaps can open up, and that right there, that little gap that was opened up to this rider trying to make that chase back on, looks like Shum was able to do it, and his teammate right there, Locks, for Vision Cycling, right along with Bruno Vera, and Heigel actually was the one that was Casey's teammate, making the chase to close the gap down. Francis Kopix has made it. There was an ODZ rider. It looks like Larson is in here from Team ODZ. He's going to go ahead and make this front group as well. And now it looks like P. Hicks from the BRT team is going to have to close this down right now, or it might be curtains for these boys. Gray from Team Experimental with EPAN. Then it looks like M. Wall from the BRT. Ludendorff from the KISS Racing team. Weidman is here from Team Experimental. Dafford Williams from the KRT team off the back. 155 beats per minute. I haven't seen Dafford with that high of a heart rate in quite a while, actually. He beats a little bit low. So definitely being put on the edge here, trying to hang on to that front group. Already 6 seconds off the front, and with only 4 laps, I think these boys are going to be going absolutely crazy pace from the get-go, trying to break things apart. Now the rain has settled down, so we can get the helicopter view here from the top. We are seeing about 20 plus riders at this point, it looks like, that have made this lead group out there. We are going to go ahead and say a big hello to everybody through the social media. I am good to see you, Kevin, over in the broadcast at the I thought you were saying we were dropping frames like crazy. You scared me for a second there. Mr. Kevin from the WBR team, that is the director for the team manager, director sportif. What should I call you there, Kevin? From BR. He's actually got Coop right now up at the front of WBR kit that they recently did launch. It looks really good in the red, white, and the blue there in Gamba, as you can see, and he's got the Buffalo bike on the back there. So good to see Coop out on course, and good to see Kevin, the team manager, hanging out in the race broadcast over at Zwift's Facebook. Good to see you. Benke's in here as well. Principal is the best for me, NG. Sounds good, Kevin. Sounds good. Team Principal. All right, Locks is here now up at the front, though, from Vision Cycling, 5.6 watts per kilogram. Not letting things slow down. Looks like he had a little drop off for a moment there. Now, one last little kick up and over the top, looking for that KOM. Looks like Plujmers did a little bit of a warm-up at 4:30. These boys are going to be coming up over the top here at about 3:45 is what I'm guessing or so. Locks looking to hunt down just for, it's not going to win the race today, I don't think, but for a little bit of bragging rights, looking to lock down the fastest time, but I'm not sure he's going to get it. I think it's actually going to go to the ODZ Boniface rider, because he actually started behind the rest of the riders. He was toward the back of the pack, actually, as they were climbing up that 8% part of the reverse Watopia Hilly, and went ahead and made up a few seconds, actually, toward the front of the pack. And so he went ahead and grabbed that KOM. Nice job to him. We do see Mr. Frank Garcia hanging in here. And if Frank Garcia, boys and girls, if he is able to hang on 4 times up and over the top of that reverse hilly, I'm gonna put my chips on Frank Garcia for a sprint finish. If he's able to hang on, though, that is the question. We do see him getting into that Sagan tuck and resting up right now in order to try and reserve some of that energy so that maybe the rest of Team Experimental can work with him. Kowalski here, a newer rider to Team Experimental. I've not seen this rider actually in the X kit before. I haven't covered a ZTR race in a while, so I'm going to go ahead and quick see what's going on with Kowalski, a newer rider to the team here. Let's go ahead and see where Kowalski is sitting for his past results, as I definitely want to know if this rider has the ability to win today or what his results have been like. Kowalski, actually, okay, so Christoph, I do recognize Christoph, but I did not know that he went over to Team Experimental. Good to see him out there coming out of Switzerland. And it looks like he's got an 18th, 11th, and 8th, a 3rd place back on November 29th in the Turbo Tuesday. It's been a little while since he's been racing, actually, so I was right about that. Back on January 11th was the last race that we have picked up for him. So good to see Christoph out on course riding for Team Experimental now. And Team Experimental coming out in force at the front of the race. Brett Boniface there, though, definitely one to watch out for today. A very strong climber out on course for Team ODZ. He does have Larson, I think, right along with him. Boniface, you can't see it, but he is in the ODZ kit, but right now he is donning the fastest lap out on the Volcano right now. So ODZ, though, with 2, we do see Larson here where my cursor is. I'll go ahead and click on Larson if I can get my eyes on him here up at the back of the pack. Here is Larson in that ODZ kit in the light blue with the Wagner's wagon on the side of them. That's such a cool kit, actually, because the kit is designed, that is a team that completely started out of Zwift, right? Well, a lot of these teams, actually. Team Experimental, Team ODZ didn't have any expression outside of Zwift prior to Zwift. There's also, I believe KRT is also a team that started, and all these guys, they have their own real-life kits that have been made now. But what I find really cool about the ODZ kit is that all of the different things that are on the kit are actually rides that they run in game. And so the Wagner's wagon that you see on the left side of his kit there is actually a ride that they run that is a part of the event modules in Zwift. And if you'd like to be a part of a really well-oiled team, as well as a really well-oiled events, that, I mean, they just do an amazing job with these events, actually. Definitely check out the ODZ events. We've got a great website, actually, if you just Google Team ODZ, and you can see all the events that they do run. Jump into some of those events. Larson here representing the flag for them up toward the front, but I think Boniface may be the one that he's going to be working for, as Boniface definitely one with a lot of Palmarites underneath his belt for the races. We do have up toward the front another big hitter, Mr. Kim Little here from the Team Experimental, riding the new XRS race series here today, and we'll go again and give him a ride on. He's going to be well known for winning that GCN race that we had just a few weeks ago, and Kim Little, another one to be watching out for today for amongst the big hitters. Webb is there as well from Vision Cycling, another one to be watching out for. Actually, I think amongst all these riders, it's almost anyone's game. There are maybe a few that are just hanging on at this point. Webb 140 though. We can see Knowlton here 182, I think, just hanging on at this point. Bruno Vera 166, right up into that tempo. Moving forward, Schmidt-Heine here 169, Hydro 170. Kim Little, I think, may be a little bit lower. Cliven's in here 158 heart rate, as you can see here. So trying to get that heart rate to come down as they make their way through the SEs right now. Looking at Lecoq here 126. So the KRT rider here definitely taking it a little bit easier if I got it right on his max heart rate. I am thinking, just so you guys know, I know a lot of you that are out there being versed in, hey, wait a second, everybody's going to have a different max heart rate. I watch these guys almost daily and check out where their heart rates do max out at through ZwiftPower.com. It actually has a complete listing of all of their max heart rates that have been recorded through the game, and we can go ahead and check that out right now. Jay Lecoq does max out at 176, so it does max out a little bit lower than most. So at 127 right now, he is in that endurance pace zone, probably a zone 2 or so, with a 176 max heart rate, maxing out about 20 beats lower than I do, and I'd be probably about a zone 1 right now if I were hanging out there. So he's just chilling, zone 2 or so for Jay Lecoq. Casey Chum now here 162 here, maybe one to watch out for if he plays himself a very good tactical card. We did see him take the win just a few days ago in his racer focus that he did on the Zwift Community Live page. Great job to him, and he even said himself, not the strongest rider out there on that day, but tactically he was able to pull it off with an amazing slingshot effort down the regular sprint, the forward sprint on the Watopia, finished on the Watopia Boulevard there, down toward the pier. It was an amazing sprint that he was able to pull off there. Slingshot himself through riders that had done the perfect lead out. They weren't trying to do a perfect lead out for him in one way or another, but he was able to pull it off there and beat a few riders that are definitely much stronger than him. So tactics do play a huge role out on Zwift, as that drafting effect is seriously real in the game. And that's why you see all these riders bunched up like this right now. As you can see, there's this large pack that's all hanging out together because they do not want to lose that group. If you lose the wheel in this group, it immediately will go out from you and become a huge effort to get back on terms. This chase group, though, boys and girls, what an effort by Daffod Williams and Gray, Yoon as well, Pelosi. These boys had been working hard. They got dropped off on the climb, on the reverse climb, just a little while ago, and have made their way back to this lead group, actually. Daffod Williams up into that 157. If he gets near 160, boys and girls, that is almost maxing out for him, and he is definitely in the hurt locker. And as you can see here, he chased everybody back on, and now GG, it looks like, after that effort. The Melty Man here now just trying to get back on terms here, 166. It is just 1 second up. It looks like Ludendorff did get back on terms, maybe was able to get a little bit of a benefit. Was he with that chase group? I'm not absolutely positive, but maybe they worked for Ludendorff to put him into that lead group and get KRT represented up amongst the lead boys now. They're going to have a little while here to rest just for a couple, maybe a minute or so, before it's going to be back up the reverse KOM out on course today. And Kevin from Team W Bar is saying, don't ignore Compix. He is definitely strong. And actually, Kevin, I would have to agree with you. I raced him actually in the first GCN race. I think it was September of 2006. No, I'm sorry, September 2015, I believe it was. The first race that we did while we were still in beta, actually, with GCN. And I raced Francis Kopix up that Governor Street climb, man, for that finale, I believe it was. And that was one of the hardest efforts I have ever done. I raced that guy, actually, somebody who's been around for a long time, Mr. Francis Kopix, actually. And if we go head on over to ZwiftPower.com and look at the amount of races that Kopix has done, I have a feeling it's going to be up in the almost 100, 44 races total coming out of Switzerland here, so not quite 100. Actually, Casey Shum, I think, just did his 200th race, actually, on his racer focus the other day. But when Francis does show up, it is a no joke, that is for sure. He had a win actually back on November 23rd in the SCR Racing Series. Does look like he took a break a little bit until just recently into February here, back on the 26th as well as on the 14th of February. Took looks like a 6th place on the 14th. So Kopic's definitely one to watch out for today out on course. And with that many Team Experimental riders, look at them all surrounding each other here. Going to be able to pull the gaps back in. As Webb and Locks, though, go off the front. Now we do see Coop here from the WBR, though, taking up the charge here. 524 watts, 177 beats per minute there. The gap is open up a little bit. We do see it looks like Magnier, unattached rider, actually, coming out of Great Britain there, followed very closely by Larson, and then Kim Little right on the wheel there as well. By. We do have Kopic's, as we were saying there, coming from Team Experimental there, out of Switzerland. Larson, Hygel's made it. Shum is there. Hansen, Cliven, Locks, Knowlton, Garcia has made it as well. So even out of Poland now, just barely able to hang on as he grabs on the wheel of Mr. Frank Garcia, the heavy sprinter, the Cavendish of Team Experimental. Definitely the one to watch out for, I would believe, here, if it does come to a sprint. Hyman now right along with Bruno Vieira. It looks like pulling off the back a little bit, and then we do have Pearson's and Jay Lecoq now, it looks like, off the back of the race. So it looks like the lead group is starting to establish itself. It is these little 1 second gaps. Looks like Hyman's going to pull claw his way back into the group and pull Bruno right along with him, and then Joachim Plujmers is going to do it as well, it looks like. If he's got just a little bit more speed, those boys might go away from him. We do probably see, if it was from his point of view right now, a little close the gap at the top here, because if it's not within 5 meters, it will not happen. Now, one more little kick back in amongst the boys, but at the front, are we going to see another kick here from ICAT coming from that HIK game team? Excuse me, I haven't mentioned them actually, coming out of the Netherlands here. HIK representing right now. The game is on. I believe that's the translation, and they did a nice little tweet out actually at us from their team actually just the other day. If you would like to get into the broadcast through the social medias, if you go ahead and tweet at us, you can at Z Community Live, you are able to show us your setups, selfies of you on the bike, whatever you want to bring in to the broadcast. It's always nice to get a real life representation of what is going on in the game right now. Shirts on, boys and girls, though. We always got to disclaim that. Shirts on, boys and girls out there that are sending us the pics over Twitter. But you can send your pic or send us a tweet just to have a comment if you'd like. Send your predictions even, if you have them, about who is going to win today. Go ahead and send those over to at Z Community Live over on Twitter. We can give you a quick little example of how that works real quick. Z Community Live actually did a nice little tweet right prior to the broadcast here. We'll head back on over to the studio very quickly as they do round out over the top of the KOM, but it is joined at Z Community Live. As you see, put at Z Community Live for the broadcast of at Go Zwift XRS ZTR Europe race in 20 minutes. So that was just prior to the broadcast. So if you'd like to, you can just copy that method there and jump into the broadcast with us. Jay Hansen here, coming from Denmark now, did make an attack up and over the top in that it looks like Quebec kit. Good to see him out there supporting that foundation. And now we do have Coop here up toward the front with, it looks like, Kim Little. Now they do have a 2 second gap over Heigel and Larson, and they're not throwing down the kind of wattages that we see up toward the front there. Actually, Larson now with 6 watts per kilogram, seeing that this is a threat, having to get it up into that 77 kilometers per hour now, as Boniface is there as well from ODZ at the front of the race. Garcia now 3 seconds back. He's just going to sit into the ranks, though, and play it smart. I think he will trust his teammates who have made the break to win the race if need be, but if these other riders do want to drag him back into the race, that is the smart tactic to play in order to stay on terms with the rest of the racers. Garcia now just a little kick here just to make sure he stays with the boys. It looks like it's going to happen here into that 4.3 watts per kilogram or so. Now Hyman, we do see Pearson now 14 seconds off the back. As you can see, you get dropped off from the front of this race and bam, immediately with that continuance of the speed over the other side, you cannot let up as soon as you come up over the top of that climb. If you do, the game is over for you. 17 seconds now at this point is the gap to Pearson, and he's going to have to be thinking about holding off this 15 seconds to Knowlton. Actually, Knowlton looks like he is going to just wait up for Wall, or maybe just be done for the day. And now Wall, Weidman, Pelosi, it looks like Ludendorff is in here as well with Gray. Power Simon is there coming out of Germany. P. Hicks, Kowalski, all in and amongst this group. And it looks like this is going to be the main chase group out on course. Pearson now looks like 19 seconds up from them. He's going to have his work cut out for him for 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go in order to hold off 18 seconds. I have a feeling he's going to be seeing those boys in just a few minutes as they come through the Essies. Now it's calming down a little bit with Larson on the front here, and it is now a lead group. Looking through over here, ZWIPpower.com, boys and girls, and it looks like the lead group, as they're just coming through, is going to be 21 riders. Actually, I'm sorry, 20 riders, including Plujmers, who was at the back when they came through the watchers there, as you can see. Hansen, actually, the last time it was a watcher did check them was through the KOM. So now as they come through the start-finish, it is down to, it looks like 21 riders, according to ZWIPpower.com. Webb is in there. Vision Cycling's got 1, 2. It looks like riders with Webb and Locks. Team Experimental still with the upper hand when it comes to all the riders that are in that lead group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 riders that are all experimental in the front of the group. It is their race to lose at this point, and they're going to start having to play cat and mouse, I think. With 2 laps to go and that many matches to burn in the group right now, they're going to have to start playing the games, I think, and start whittling this down so it does not come down to a roll of the dice or any kind of chance. Do not want luck on their side, luck to be trying to dominate that result, as that many riders at this point, you got to start throwing people off the front. That is for sure. It's only going to be about 24 more minutes of racing. Less than that, actually, as they make their way through the Essies here. This short little punchy climbs here that they will be making their way through, and maybe a couple of attacks that you could see make through this section of the course. You do see the volcano off in the distance there, and they are making their way through the reverse. And we're going to be over at the sprint section. They're going this way, as you can see. They're about halfway through. They're going to round their way out. And right here, this climb right here where my cursor is actually one of the places that you can really make a break. It is about a 5 to 6% gradient. It's the longest one through the Essies. And as you come out through there, you got this crazy fast downhill into the sprint section, and then it flattens out. And if you get any kind of gap and a few riders to go with you, you can really start to make the riders at least behind hurt, and have to throw down a little bit of energy and burn a couple matches to hang on with the group, or even establish a breakaway. We'll see if anybody does take advantage of this little climb right here. Up toward the front, we do have Brett Boniface up in that 5.6. Now there it is. Boniface going into 6.1, 6.5 watts per kilogram now. Hansen now as well up toward the front. Riders hanging in at the back here. It looks like it is going to be Webb and Locks toward the back from Vision Cycling. It looks like Surinsky now from Poland, the rider we're looking at here at 170 beats per minute here, 5.4 watts per kilogram. Nothing too serious though at the front. ICAP from HIK 5.3, 4.3 now, just kind of taking it easy now at the front as they come over the top. 174 beats per minute probably doesn't feel easy, but it's not a serious attack at this point. I think a few of the riders just thinking about hanging on at this point. Magnier now in the ACAT does not have a heart rate monitor on, boys and girls, so according to the race rules that we read at the beginning of the race, you must have a heart rate monitor in order to win in these categories, actually, up toward the front of this race, actually. So we do see Kopix here. We'll give him a ride on with that new ride on feature on the right-hand side of the course there. It's almost like, I kind of like this, how it encourages ride-ons, because as you click on riders, it's just right there. Bam, Bruno Vieira now with Locks, and they're instantaneous now, so there isn't no double clicking. I absolutely love that. Well done, Zwift, on the update there to the ride-ons. Kim Little now up toward the front here, taking the charge for his team. 145 beats per minute, looking fairly well rested, and if there's a rider to watch out for today, as we said, definitely going to be Little with that low heart rate coming through the Essies. Very well rested, it looks like, after that effort. Coop there as well, though, 149 WBR, do not count him out. Joachim is still in here as well, 152. We did see him fall off over the top of the reverse KOM, maybe being so comfortable he wasn't too worried about it, though, so we'll have to see how that turns out. Looks like we do have have Mikkel Stansholm looking vision flag, flying proud. Go Logslee over at the Facebook for Schwipps. Good to see you there. And we are seeing Simon Esther Cream saying ICAT second on the Dutch champ races. Watch him. So second place to ICAT in the Dutch Championship races, currently holding that silver medal. So maybe one to watch out for from Team HIK. Mark McIntosh is saying Kim Little for the win. So we're starting to get the predictions coming through today. And Mikkel is saying Adam Webb today, cake time out on course. Kowalski, we're saying from Team WBR, only 956 CBR points. So he must, professional sandbagger or development project for Team X, he can earn a ton of points. I think he just hasn't raced in a while. Kevin, Team WBR. I don't have a lot of points either on the rankings. Those once a week KISS 100 races. I need to get a few more you heavy hitters for strength of field to show up so that I can grab a few more points in that KISS 100, because I'm only racing once a week now, boys and girls. But when I do race, I race the 100. Where's my little beer to go along with that one? All right, so Kim Little, Schmidt, Heine, Kat here as well. Thrun, Bruno Vieira, Cliven, all in this front group. We're almost a lap and a half to go now. Lap and a half to go from the front of the race here in the newly launched XRS ZTR Racing Series now. Cliven 4.3 hanging in there from the BRT team. Actually, are there two BRT boys or just one? I think it's been whittled down to just one. So he's going to have to hold on solo at this point. He's going to have to cover the moves all by his lonesome. Look at all the black kits, all the alien heads on the back of these jerseys, boys and girls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 riders at least at this point. If that doesn't say they've got strength in numbers now, and maybe in the last lap they'll start sending people off the front. I'm expecting a huge attack over the top of this climb. Now this is where the climb comes in though and really evens things out, because the draft does not matter as much when it gets into a 7-8% gradient. That's not going to matter. The drafting is not going to matter at this point. So you need to create the separation prior to it flattening out. And any riders that are not on that Team Experimental team, or even riders that want to make a break in that Team Experimental team, that's what they're going to be thinking about. How can I get away right now? Do I have the energy? Do I have the kind of match to burn at this point to get away over this first little section of the climb? We do see Webb from Vision Cycling here with a 1 second difference right away, and it looks like his teammate Locks is now sitting in and not going with him at this point. We'll see if Webb is able to continue with this gap. Now Boniface here up in that 8.3 watts per kilogram, quickly closing it down, knowing that Webb is a very strong rider. ODZ now representing, and knowing that there's so many riders from Team Experimental, he's going to try and break things apart. Webb now following very closely there. Magner's now making it as well. Coop is in there. Plusmer's now with all of the Team Experimental riders right on his wheel. As it levels out, they're going to start taking poles at the front, I would assume, to close down this 2 second gap. It's going to be up to these 4 now, I think, at this point, to try and have an upset on Team Experimental on their first race of this series. Now Boniface with the continuance up and over the top. That's what it's all about. To carry that speed onto the flat is how you make these breaks happen, because you can get the gap once you climb through those sections that hit that 6, 7, 8% gradients. And, you know, they don't have the draft at that point, but it's going to be all about continuance of speed, because the speed, if the other riders do not have the same speed as you, if you're able to hold on to that much more speed, because the speed differences aren't huge on the uphill, but if the riders fade after you hit the uphill, because a lot of times you climb and you grind and you grind and you grind, then you hit the top and your body naturally wants to go, okay, I don't feel the force, I don't feel the resistance any longer on my body. So a lot of times you have that moment of, okay, relief, and I can relax. And no, that's actually the moment, because you know people are going to have that natural inclination to relief and relax, because you can gain so much speed and they're going to be going down to that lower zone 1, zone 2 power zone. That's the point you want to attack. And as you can see here, Kim Little, Boniface, and these others, they have kept the heat on over the top with that continuance in order to hold on to 40 to 45 kilometers per hour now. And now I've broken off the back here. Hyman, Szerzynski, as well as Locks and Garcia now all at the back by 20 seconds at this point. See, that's exactly what we're talking about. 20 seconds, bam, just like that, from that little climb over just half a kilometer of landscape out on course. Magner up at the front here, 5.1 watts per kilogram, as you can see, absolutely hammered. And Kevin, oh gosh, now we're starting to talk about my rankings out here. Appreciate it very much. Kevin from the WBR with the 1,236 points. You're looking good. I appreciate it. I have no idea where that puts me. I haven't actually looked at the rankings recently. We do get an update actually in the division team car every week actually, which is very appreciated from a few of our guys doing some background work in the administration side of the team, and they list us, and I think I'm sitting third amongst the team. That's about all I know about my rankings personally. I'm too busy talking about everybody else's rankings, which I absolutely love. Now, Shum, here is what we're talking about with Team Experimental. 10 watts per kilogram. This is it. And will he continue over the top? I think he's been sitting in and waiting for this moment right here. And with the kick, holding on to 6, now 7. He's got 500 watts still, 49, 50 kilometers per hour. Will he have continued over the top? Kim Little going right along with it, though. And Kim Little, teammate here, dragging it back up. What is going on, Kim? Why are you bringing the whole team, the whole pack back up to your teammate? Coops right back with it. Shum's probably like, what are you doing? After I just put in that attack over the top. But we see Shum 3:32. There's no way that's happening solo for me, boys and girls. That is insanity time over the top. These boys are coming out in force right now, that is for sure, and they've dropped off everybody else by at least 30 seconds at this point. We've got an elite group off the front now. ODZ is in there with Brett Boniface. We've got WBR represented with Coop. We do have Cliven from the BRT, but we are talking about Vision Cycling here as well. But the main one on the menu, boys and girls, is going to be Team Experimental with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at least riders that have made it into this league group still. Huge representation from Team Experimental, but they're going to have one lap to go. They're going to have to start throwing these attacks out the front. I think Shum is going to have to rest up after that craziness up over the top. 162. They got to go again and again and again. As soon as things settle down, immediately, actually before they settle down, you got to counter. And it looks like there's not a whole lot of interest to make that happen. Maybe more of a tactical race at this point, looking for some lead outs in the sprints. But with the way that Zwift works, a lot of times it's a little bit of, you can, and not even just in Zwift, in real life too, you've got that situation where somebody can just grab a wheel at the right time and get your lead out from you and take over and get a sprint. And if they got the watts to give, it's so mano a mano out here that you are just not able to pull that off. So they got to continue with the attack. And there is Shum. He hears me through the broadcast. He's probably actually streaming over at Beam.pro right now, up into that 11 watts per kilogram, forcing the riders to go. And we do see Boniface here saying, Mike, you got to cover this. Let's go. Where are you? Is Larson actually up here? He is. And he calls it out. As you can see here, ODZ now saying, it's your turn, Mike. You got to take that pole and close that down. Go for it. And he's telling Mike to either go. And yep, he was actually telling him to go and get into that break. It's 7 seconds up at this point. Cat now. Larson now into 6.8 watts per kilogram, and the call out there, I'm assuming they're maybe not in Discord together. I do know that Team Experimental uses a Discord. They have live chat right now from a team car all together, talking to each other about who's going to go when. And now we do see Coop here at 9.8 watts per kilogram. They can see that Shum has the gap, and you don't want to bring the rest of the group with you, especially if it contains all Team Experimental riders at this point. Boniface now going right along with Coop now. Larson now following very closely here. It's an uphill gradient, so nobody's going to be too concerned about dragging anybody else right along with them. iCat here, 7.6 watts per kilogram. Cliven at the back. Coppix is here as well from Team Experimental, 9 watts per kilogram, 171. Beat Sprint hanging onto the BRT riders wheel. Shum now shooting off the back after that attack. Maybe a little bit too much with those team tactics now. Holding on to Schmidt-Heine's wheel. Maybe going to be able to hold on. But now Boniface and maybe a few of these tactics are starting to fall apart for Team Experimental, as they might not have the legs to counter what Boniface has just done, because Larson Larson went, Boniface took the slingshot, went off the front into the Essies now, holding on to a 2-second gap. This is the last lap in the XRS race. ODZ off the front, Hansen now chasing, looks like, unattached rider, 187 beats per minute, 2.8 watts per kilogram. Magner here, 290. We can see now everybody's starting to rest up a little bit. Letting Boniface just dangle off the front. I have a feeling they don't think it's going to stick, but Boniface definitely not a rider I would want to let go off the front of this race. 2 seconds is the difference, though. I think as a group, though, knowing the pack dynamics and how groups work out on Zwift, it's definitely going to be difficult to hold them off, as they definitely can hold on to a lot of speed and gain speed from riders making their way toward the front. Kim Little now 1 second back. Looks like they're going to pull Boniface back in, even at him putting out that 5.6 watts per kilogram. Stephen Tween saying that Coop just getting warmed up. Christopher Durham's in there as well. Another Team WBR rider saying Coop for the win. And the Andrew Banky Volcano jersey is nice. It's good looking on Boniface right now. Adrian Timmis, is it as difficult as racing the TDF? That's a good question. Amazingly, it's easier watching. Resisted racing again tonight. Need the easy stuff as well. That's right, Timmis. Good job on resisting there. Good to see Adrian Timmis, ex-Tour de France rider, out in the broadcast right now, and we've been watching him hammer away in the SCR series and a few other races recently. We saw him kill it on the mountain route, actually, up against some of the juggernauts the other day, taking a second place, I believe, in the sprint, even after attacking all the way to the top of the radio tower climb. Now Larson, it looks like, off the front with a counterattack after they caught Boniface. What amazing tactic that was. They caught Boniface. It's the moment they caught Boniface, which is going to put those other riders in a little bit of distress. That large team chasing down Boniface out on course. Larson then, the moment it was there, and Boniface, this is a rider that I've actually had, from another team, but he's actually directed me a little bit in my channel watching during my 100K races, and he's got some really good timing, some really good tactics. He's learned Zwift very well as to when you go, and I have a feeling he told Mike when to go right there, or at least had it set up as to when to go. And Mike, solid effort, made the attack, trying to loosen up the legs so that Experimental doesn't have too much, I would believe, or even the other riders there out on course on the reverse. KOM. And now we've got final half a lap here. Jeff Rudenstein, Team X for the win. Let's start here. And Boniface can, and we are seeing Kevin from WBR saying Boniface just casually took the Volcano KOM as a warm-up before the race. Wow. Yeah. Boniface is definitely one of the strongest riders I know of out on course. A Cat 1 racer. Raced, I believe, for a domestic pro team as well out of Canada as of recently. We did just see a post, actually, from his Twitter or Facebook from a bunch of Garnu bikes, I believe, that came in recently for their team that does race over on the West Coast a whole lot, actually. They're going to be starting their travels, actually, very soon here in March. I do believe they have some of their bigger races coming up pretty soon. So I'm excited to see how all of the Zwift racing and training turns out for him, as he has been doing some serious efforts with back-to-back races like this over the last couple of months. So we'll see how that... We'll actually have to catch up with him over on Zwift Community Live with some updates as the live racing develops in real life and how it has translated from Zwift racing over the winter into real life. Boniface now 4.7 watts per kilogram hanging in here. He's not going to chase down his teammate. He's just going to sit on Hansen's wheel here, let the pulls take place, and rest up as they wait for the final climb over the top. 7 seconds out to Larson, and if he's got enough watts and saves enough to have a kick over that 7% gradient, can hold on to 5 watts per kilogram or so over the top there, he may be able to win this. If it goes out to 15, it's going to be a threat. He doesn't get 15 seconds. Team Experimental may be able to work together on the flatter sections of that climb and pull it all back in together. Now, looking through, though, we do got this lead group, though. Now, with Larson out the front, the main chase group 10 seconds back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 riders. And Team Experimental, it's going to be on them to close it down. We do see it looks like Kim Little now, 10 watts per kilogram, doesn't want anybody on his wheel prior to the climb in order to hold on. And now it looks like Coop is going right along with him from WBR. ODZ. Now, this is just like in real life. Do we got somebody in the break? Don't chase, right? And now they see Kim Little going off the front, trying to get into the break, close it down to Larson. Kim Little, definitely a rider who can win the race out here today. Solid effort, 165, closing it down. Magnier off the back. It's a full-on 7 seconds. Nobody making the chase. It's going to be Larson and Little off the front. And if they're able to work together after this immediacy of a climb, if they have about the same amount of power up and over the top. It's definitely going to be difficult for these riders behind now to catch up, because that's what it's all about. The riders behind, they're going to be able to work together with a larger pack, but just having two even able to pull at the front at 5-6 watts per kilogram, and you can sit in and rest at 4, is a huge difference out on course. So Kim, Little, and Larson now with the break, and Little goes. I think Larson's fading now, though. Might not have anything left in the legs as he's dangled out the front of that pack for quite a bit long time. Now it's going to be up to him just to hang on as a Magnier and Coop now start to close that gap down up in that 7 watts per kilogram. Boniface now 8.1, and he knows he's not going to give any advantage to any other riders that are around him at this point, so he can just pull as hard as he wants to up and over the top of this climb. Now Kim Little 7.1 watts per kilogram with 7 seconds. Now Magnier trying to close it down. Coop is there 8.1. Kopix now as well from Team Experimental, just following the wheels, not pulling anybody up to Kim Little. That's going to be the goal at this point, I think, for Team Experimental, yet not letting anybody go, just covering the moves from the group. Now Kopix fading though. Boniface going 8.7 now. You can see holds onto the wheel. Larson now they're going to work together to try and pull Kim back in, it looks like, who's got 7 seconds, but this might be curtains for the rest of the riders if he can hold on to this kind of gap. But Magnier at 7.5, huge watts coming from Mr. Magnier. No heart rate though, so will not be able to take the win out there today. Let's get that man a heart rate monitor out there on course. Kim Little now 6.3 watts per kilogram. Boniface here 5 seconds back. This is for all the chips, boys and girls. Final time up and over the top of the climb, 3:32 last time over the top. I have a feeling they might make it even better at this on this race today over this final time over the top. And we are seeing from Liam Bard over at Twitter making his own little prediction there, saying that it's going to be, come on Coop, you've got this, Team WBR. Bard, a teammate of Coop, looking for the win there for Mr. Coop out on course. Coop has made it looks like. 4.8 watts per kilogram coming out of Germany here. It is 5 seconds up to Kim Little though. He's thrown all his chips on the table, everything he's got to the line at this point with only 5 seconds. I'm not sure he's going to get much more of a gap over the rest of the riders, as they're going to be hunting him down. And I think they smell a little bit of blood in the water here at this point, and the Piranhas are hunting. Cat, Coop, Cliven, Boniface, Hansen, that's the group at this point. The rest of X is off the back now, and it's going to be up to these boys to chase down Team X, as Kim Little is the only one left from X. And now, after throwing all that out onto the course, nobody else was able to make the moves, and it's Coop, Cat, and then Cliven, Hansen, Boniface, all from other teams at this point, and it's X has put everything in to Kim Little. Can they close it down, though, is the question. Cat's at 183 beats per minute. Boniface 181. We beat similar. That's VO2 max, boys and girls. We see Hansen 190. They have put everything on the line at this point to close it down. Kim might sense weakness, and he's got to kick one more time and hold on to 6 seconds to the line. This is coming right down to this last 2 kilometers over the top of the reverse KOM at this point. And he's put it back out to 7 seconds. He's got him on the ropes at this point a little bit, boys and girls, because 181 beats per minute. These boys are suffering just to close it down. And we can see here, only ODZ is represented at this point, and BRT, ODZ, BRT, HIK, all in there. But it's all solo riders at this point. Boniface now going 10 watts per kilogram. He wants to close it down, not bring anybody with him now. Kim Little kicking one more time, but it's got to be consistency. If he kicks too much, he will not be able to kick and hold on the other side of the climb, because he cannot rest the pedal stroke at this point, boys and girls. Boniface now fading down to 2 watts per kilogram, back up into 6. He's got riders with him here now. Kim Little, 4.5 watts per kilogram, 170 beats per minute now. You can see it is only 2 seconds, and the riders are right back with him. It's going to be a sprint finish, boys and girls. Only 2 seconds. I think it's going to be caught. Maybe not, though. Magnier now 65 kilometers per hour, 64 coming from Kim Little, 65 Magnier, 66 Kim Little. He's going again, 67. Can he hold on to that 2 seconds? It's everything he got to the line. He's right there, boys and girls. But no, they haven't caught him yet. He's holding on to this last little bit, but somebody's going to get the advantage of it, and I think it may be Cliven or Coop from the BRT who are sitting in, who are going to slingshot off the front probably immediately after this downhill, but it's gone back out to 3 seconds. Kim Little is trying to upset the pack at this point off the front from Team X at 168 beats per minute. This is huge. Is it going to be Kim? Is it going to be Coop? Who's it going to be? Boniface. He's got to kick again and hold on to this gap. 7 watts per kilogram onto the flat, 57 kilometers per hour. Can he do it? It's going from way out Oh my goodness, he's had this gap all the way since the bridge on the other side of the climb. 2 seconds, he's holding on, you guys, but can somebody kick? 176 from inside the group now at this point. Boniface going huge watts from Boniface now, 14 watts per kilogram. Kim will not be able to match it, I don't think. He's trying to kick. He's going, no, Brett Boniface goes flying by, and that's what happens amongst the group at this point, though, when they kick from the group and they got anything reserved. Cliven, as we said, the one who got the best of them all from sitting in the group. What a sprint, and Coop comes from behind there. What an effort there. It's gonna be the BRT rider, Cliven, followed by Coop, and then I believe it was Magnier maybe for the top three. Kim Little threw it all out on the course. I'd have to give him the most combative rider for the day, though, that's for sure. What an effort coming from Mr. Kim Little. Now Kopic's battling it out here with Larson, and then it looks like Webb going to be bringing it in about 25 seconds back. Solid effort from Webb there. Going to hang on for that position. What an effort by Kim Little, but unable to hold off, and it will be then the BRT rider who sat in and played the smart sprinter all the way to the line. The pack of 6 times power-ups. Kim Little was a monster. Brave move by Kim Little, regardless, says Kevin. Boniface McKell called it, yep, with that solid sprint from the pack. Absolutely killer. Now we do see Heigel just coming across the line there in the A race for his race. We do see it looks like Al Hansel now just crossing the line in the C category. A lot of boys and girls will be crossing the line here in the C category. We will go over the results from the C and D category in just a moment here. We do want to catch hopefully the end of the Bs as they are doing 4 laps as well out on course. Adrian Timmis, Caden Sports, ex-Tour de France rider, boys and girls, a little bit of hype, getting his chill ride in out on course, a little bit of recovery, it looks like, 97 beats per minute. While watching the broadcast, good to see you out there out on course. Bowley now, it looks like, getting his warm-up for the KISS race here that we will be covering in 40 minutes from right now over on Zwift Community Live. So we are live right now on Zwift's Facebook page, but you can find us here really quick. You guys, just want to let you know so you don't miss out on any of the broadcasts. You can find us at all these places, beam.pro/Zwift Community Live, Twitch TV/Zwift Community Live. Those are committed streaming platforms, or, of course, on our Facebook at Zwift Community Live as well. We'll be live there in just 40 minutes from now with the KISS EU race as well. We're doing a double header today, and I have a feeling we're going to see a few of these riders recovering from this effort we've just seen and then jumping right back in for a back-to-back effort out on course. Locks now sprinting out, looks like here from Vision Cycling with Thrun Garcia, and there's that kick we've talked about so many times from Garcia. There's the sprint, and he comes flying right on by. Solid effort there coming from Garcia. Persons now with the fastest lap though, 11:45. Had a great last lap, it looks like, amongst the boys and girls out there today. All right, let's go ahead and jump back into the studio real quickly as we can look through. Break ground broadcast, Nathan coming from WBR. Kevin, thanks a lot. Nathan got a great finish. Ride-ons to all. Looked like Coop took second there for the late sprint. Yep, looks like Coop did take second. That was a solid effort for Coop, actually, for that sprint. Let's go ahead and see how the results played out over on ZwiftPower.com, actually. We do have a little bit. Let's go ahead and see. I think I do have, yep, we can bring this in to the studio for you guys, actually. We do see that it was Ivan Cliven, I hope I got that right, followed by Brett Boniface, that's the BB coming out of Canada there, and then it was Alexander Coop, according to ZwiftPower.com, actually. I thought he did take second, but the watchers are the ones that are right on the line there. So according to our point of view, it's not always correct. I thought it was Coop for second, but I think Boniface did take it at the line there. Andrew Magner then, followed by Jacob Hansen for the top boys in the A category. That is the finish for the A category. We are waiting for quite a few Bs to make their way to the line here in just a moment. I got to click backwards and see if I can find them out on course. As according to ZwiftPower.com, the B boys, let's see here real quick. I am looking for the results currently with the Bs. We should be seeing here Mr. G. Gautatiobos. Sorry, I'm not going to get that one. Coming out of Belgium. leading them out, followed by Rasmussen from Vision as well. Jay Rasmussen there sitting in second, and Weinberg. So we got to find that group out on course. We do have a sprint, though, ramping up here with Dafford Williams. Let's go ahead and see this real quickly as he brings it in for the KRT team. Weidman then leading it out. Looks like Weidman's going to get the better of him, followed by Dafford. Oh, just nipped at the line there by Oxenham. This Oxenham got Mr. Dafford Williams at the line. Solid result there for all those boys, though, as they crossed through out on course. So as we're waiting up for the B riders, we're going to go ahead and click through and see if we can find a few of them. We are going to be looking for, I believe it is Jens and a few others. Rasmussen, I think, is it C. Hardy and White here, perhaps, that we are waiting for? We do see Weinberg. There we go. This is the group that we are looking for. Steve XC and Weinberg, it looks like, amongst the Bs. Robert from Team PL is there as well. And, yep, that is the leaders, actually. And they were able to drop off, it looks like, Mitch and Karek and Hardy, actually, off the back from the front of the B. So this is the front of the B-boys right now, making their way to the line. Weinberg from the BRT now. ZTRB, it looks like, hammering away. Robert P. from the Team Poland. Now, lead group of 3. And it's going to be right to the line, it looks like here. Who's going to jump first? Do we have a taker here? 4.5 watts per kilogram, 172 beats per minute. Weinberg's absolutely killing himself. He does max out at 188, so he's got a little bit of a sprint left in the legs. Robert PL here from Team Poland, it looks like. Do not have any heart rate for him in the past. I don't think he can actually win it outright with no HR monitor, but he will be able to get kudos on the day sprinting these boys out. But with no HR monitor, it's not going to count. Weinberg's actually going to be able to take the win now today, followed by Steve XC, assuming mountain biker out on course. Bergton now about to make his way to the line in the A race with Sebastian Kuhn sprinting out there as well. It looks like a couple other B-boys are in there sprinting out with them. Nice job to all of them. I think that was Hardy then and the others sprinting out. Mitch might have gotten the better of Hardy there right to the line. Solid effort to all those riders. Let's go ahead and see how it did play out according to ZwiftPower.com in just a second as we wait for it to update. We are going to go ahead and look through here and see. It looks like Kay Reynolds amongst the women is going to be the first woman to be crossing the line here in just a little bit. We do want to make sure to highlight. Let's see here. It looks like Kay Reynolds is the only one amongst the A's and the B's, so congratulations to her coming out of the US of A. No races prior to this, actually. She's not registered over on ZwiftPower.com, so I don't think she has any races prior to this. Solid 4.3 watts per kilogram, though, coming from the American Kay Reynolds. So solid job to her out there, out on course. I'm going to go ahead and open up also the results for the C and the D category, as they should be finished now at this point. And we'll be able to at least read those off for you guys. We weren't able to get coverage as they did only 3 laps today as opposed to the 4. But in the C category, there are a lot of upgrades, it looks like. But we will at least show you guys what we are seeing over there for the C category. In the C category, it will be tore out Foglerad, followed by Philip Grant, and then John Balabuk. But they all get upgrades into the A category with 4.2 watts per kilogram for the duration. First one across the line in the C category without an upgrade will be Martin Razak, followed by, it looks like, Raul All out of Spain, just a little ways down here, as you can see right here. That is the next rider without an upgrade. And then followed by, it looks like, Noel Horton. As you can see here, Noel Horton. For third place amongst the C's. In the D category, Chris McGill, it looks like, is going to be the first one to cross the line. A few more still making their way to the line, but it looks like N. Martin, followed by N. Close, is going to be the finishing order between those boys out on course. And then we do have, it looks like, amongst the B riders, they have crossed the line now, and we can see it will be the Polish rider. Robert did get the better of him. We'll get an upgrade to A categories, followed by Will Weinberg, and then it will be Steve XC. Adam Mitchinson and then Craig Hardy will round out the top 5. The official results, though, are probably going to be updated with a couple of changes, as a few riders did get upgrades out there on course. And so that's going to be it for our coverage for the XRS race, boys and girls. Nice job to all the racers out there as we're watching C. Spencer and a few others just get their cool down. P. Nielsen coming out of Norway. Looks like he just got done with his race as well. If you'd like to check out what is going on with everything going on with the Zwift Community Live, make sure to check out our website, ZwiftCommunityLive.com. We got our schedule up over there, as well as all the links to all the places you can find us, our social medias, Periscope, Twitter, Facebook. We've got all of our streaming channels as well, Twitch, YouTube for VODs. VODs. It's the main place that we focus all of our VODs. So if you haven't subscribed over there, make sure to do so. If you do like to watch the broadcast afterwards, we do have coming up next in just about 30 minutes. We'll actually be live probably in about 20 minutes with a lot of updates about a lot of cool things that are going down in just the next 2 weeks. You guys, there's some major events taking place in just the next 2 weeks. So we'll probably be chatting a little bit about that here with an early live. We're going to go live a little bit early with, I believe, Mr. Jonathan Noblet. I have to see if he's available. But I believe we will be going live over on Zwift Community Live. It is tagged actually over at Zwift's Facebook as well for a link to the channel. So you guys can find us there in just about 20 minutes for the KISS race and some pre-show talk. Thanks everybody for joining in, and congratulations to all the riders. Great job out there. It's all about cycling made social, indoor cycling made social through this online platform. Everybody got an amazing workout, that is for sure, pushing each other. Congratulations to all of the riders on the amazing finishes, especially to the winners today. And as always, everybody, ride on.